Hi viewers, welcome to another episode of Journeying Through the Bible. In this episode, we're going to have a look at some key lessons that we can learn from the life of Joseph. Now you may want to read the whole story yourself, which is found in Genesis chapters 37 to chapter 50, but I'm going to give you a very brief overview of the whole story. Now Joseph was the 11th son of Jacob, born of his favourite wife Rachel, who died shortly after childbirth with the last son, Benjamin. Joseph was the son of Jacob's old age, and he loved him more than all his other sons and made it pretty obvious and gave Joseph a coat of many colours. When Joseph was 17, he had two dreams given to him by God and decided to tell his father and his brothers. But his brothers hated him because he was the father's favourite. So they decided to do away with him and pretend to their father that he had been killed by a wild animal, but they had actually sold him into slavery. He eventually ends up in Egypt and is purchased by an officer of the Pharaoh and becomes a house servant. He experiences God's favour and is given free rein to manage the household. The officer's wife takes a fancy to Joseph and attempts to seduce him, but due to his integrity, he refuses to sleep with her. She is so enraged at his rejection that she accuses him of attempted rape, and his master has him thrown into the prison with Pharaoh's other prisoners. But even in prison, Joseph still experiences God's favour, and the chief jailer allowed Joseph to be in charge of everything, and everything he did prospered. Pharaoh's chief butler and chief baker are also thrown into prison, and Joseph interprets their dreams. The butler was to be restored, and the baker was to be put to death. Joseph then asked the butler to make sure that he remembers him on his release, but the butler totally forgets about Joseph. Sometime later, Pharaoh has a disturbing dream, and the chief butler remembers how Joseph correctly interpreted his dream and the dream of the chief baker. Joseph is now 30 years old. He is summoned from the prison in order to give the interpretation of Pharaoh's dream. He is immediately promoted to the position of the most powerful man in Egypt, second only to Pharaoh himself. He sets things in order in line with the warning given in Pharaoh's dream and ensures that there is enough food supplies in storage to survive the famine. When the famine begins to take hold, other neighbouring regions are forced to come to Joseph to buy grain. Because of the famine, Jacob sends his sons to Egypt to buy grain, but they do not recognise Joseph whatsoever, and he treats them roughly and accuses them of spying. He then tests them and gets them to agree to bring their youngest brother Benjamin to him, whilst keeping Simeon, one of the older brothers, in jail. He also commands that their sacks be filled for their journey back home, and that the money they had paid be put back into their sacks. On their return for more grain, they bring their youngest brother Benjamin and are invited as guests to Joseph's private house. He orders their seats to be set in order of their birth and ensures that Benjamin is given 5 times more the amount of food than the rest of his brothers. Before they return home, he orders his stewards to fill their sacks to full capacity and to hide his special silver cup in Benjamin's sack. Once they have left, the stewards were to chase after them and accuse them of stealing the master's silver cup. The brothers are so confident that they have done nothing wrong and have nothing to hide that Judah suggests that if a cup is found on anyone, they should be executed, and the rest of them will become Joseph's slaves. The cup is found in Benjamin's sack, and Judah does his best to plead for his youngest brother's life, explaining that it would kill their father if anything were to happen to his youngest son. At this point, Joseph breaks down and reveals his true identity to his brothers, but they are so shocked that they cannot even speak. The brothers return to bring their father to Joseph, and they have a very emotional reunion. The Pharaoh instructs Joseph to give his family the best land and give those who are competent chief herdsman positions. When his father dies, his brothers become very anxious in case Joseph wants to take revenge. But he simply, lovingly reassures them that what they meant for evil, God worked it out for good. He takes good care of them and their families and treats them very well. So let's have a look at these 15 lessons that we can learn from Joseph's life. Number 1, be mindful who you share your God-given dreams with. 2, not everyone around you wants the best for you. 3, rejection by man does not equate to rejection by God. 4, the journey to your God-ordained destiny may take you through hell. 5, favor with God is not based on your circumstances. 6, favor will attract the enemy to you. 7, always keep your integrity. It speaks volumes to God. 8, false accusations often come through the evil intentions of others. 9, your unwarranted treatment is part of the promotion process. 10, even in the darkest times of your life, God will still use you. He has a plan. Number 11, continue to be a blessing to others and sow seeds. You will reap in due season. 12, even when you bless others, they may forget about you when they are blessed. 13, no matter how long your situation has existed, God can change things instantaneously. 14, forgiveness is essential. And 15, those who once wronged you may one day seriously need your help, but you need to be mature and discerning. Well, that's it for today. Please join us for another episode of Journeying Through the Bible. But until next time, take care, stay strong, and keep the faith.